Okay, so next I'd like to talk a little bit about the Shrinkwrap deformer. Now the Shrinkwrap deformer is actually a very, very powerful and very versatile tool, so it's well worth playing around with this and understanding a little bit. Now basically the way it works is exactly as the name says. It works like a shrink wrap, so it tries to wrap one object right up to another one. So basically I have this grid and I'm going to wrap it to this sphere, and we'll just say deform shrink wrap and select my sphere here. Okay, so now it's really wrapped it all the way around. It's not quite what I wanted in this case. So what I'm going to do is I have various choices. So if I do towards inner object, basically what it's trying to do is either aim towards another object inside here, if you have it selected, or if not, just towards the middle of this object. You can do this towards the center, which in this case is what it's doing by default because it's not another object. Parallel to axis. Basically, if you have an axis selected, what it'll do is it'll just project it downwards towards the axis, and following vertex normals means it'll try and stick to the normals of this object. But what I think I'm just going to use parallel to the axis, and I'm going to put a little bit of amplitude on there, making it just a little bit stronger. So now what happens when I move this sphere up is that it'll start pushing up against the grid, and the grid will now sort of stick to the surface, as if you'd really like put a little bit of cellophane over it, as this is a piece of cellophane and the air is being sucked out. But then I can also move the sphere around and this deformer will move with. And you can see it's actually a very, very fast deformer. And thus it's very, very useful doing things like skin sliding, or you know, if you're trying to do like skin sliding over muscles in a complex rig, or you're trying to, you know, have one object sliding over another. This is where it comes in very, very handy, and it's remarkably versatile. Like I said, you can also add a subdivision surface to it and move, for example, the object around, and it'll still go quite fast on that. So again, it's really worth learning a little bit more about this one. You can also, of course, add a weight map to it to control where it's going to be active, where it's not going to be active. And so that's Shrinkwrap.